Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
You really adopted the dark. I was born in it.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Bazinga.
Two in the box. Ready to go. We be fast. They be slow.
Cool.
And we're recording. Welcome to the Mt.Geekmore podcast, your favorite podcast where we like to argue and debate and talk about your top four, Mount Rushmores, if you will, of your favorite pop culture subjects. Today's pop culture subject is one near and dear to my artery-clogged heart. Today's top pop culture subject is baked goods. So we're going to have our Mount Rushmores of baked goods. I am Neri Science. With me, as usual, is Daniel DeBona.
What's up, y'all?
And we have Missy is back.
Hi.
All right. And the first time on this podcast, but a long time friend, and this is a long time coming, we have Louis Essman on the podcast. What's up, Lou?
What is going on, my brother from another?
I love this dude so much. We met through Mount Rushmore, right? And through listening to it, and then we were chatting online and on the Facebooks and stuff, and then I got to be on your podcast, the What's Good podcast, you and the Bonus podcast. Yeah, I was a guest on there. Yeah, and me and Lou have an affinity for DC Comics, like nobody's business. We are fanboys of DC Comics, while everybody's fucking sucking on that Marvel tea. Me and Lou are like, you know what? DC's good too, guys.
That's right. But it's I think our thought process is the same. We think the same way.
Yeah.
We like the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're
That's
my brother.
That's gonna be a problem.
It's gonna be great.
That's gonna be great, man.
It's gonna be great.
So, Lou, I'm glad to have you on the podcast finally, man. For the last couple of weeks, I've been asking the Bone. I'm like, you think Lou would be good for this topic? And it's like been like wrestling or like sports, and he's like, that is not at all. So I was like, I know he used to be a baker, so I know this motherfucker would be good for this topic. So baked goods, it is.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
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 I used to work at a bakery, so it's kind of like the same thing, right?
Well, I went to pastry school and I worked in a bakery.
Yeah,
I was 17 and I needed a job. It's a completely different story.
Yeah,
I actually went to school because I thought I wanted to be a baker as a profession. So in high school, for the first 3 years of high school, most of my electives.
Is this a real story?
Yeah, most of my electives went to food production, and then my junior year of high school, all my electives, I went to a technical institute for half the day. So I would wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to get there at 6 and then do 2 hours of baking, and then they will bus me over to my high school and then do my core courses of my junior year.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and
so what happened?
That's when I found out that I love baking as a hobby, not as a profession, because that shit. Like when I had people constantly, when I had an instructor like yelling in my ear, I was like, I'm gonna stab you with a fucking potato peeler. So I think I'll be out. So it's in a lot of ways. Thanks. Like I actually do thank him. What was that?
Yeah, that's. And then I applied to pastry school, learned everything that I could, and then started working at the bakery. But it's the same. Like I would much rather do it as a hobby.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole different breed when you do it professionally.
I mean, there's nowhere to do the kind of stuff like that. Yeah, you can't do that kind of stuff exclusive, like the stuff that I wanted to do. There's not restaurants like that here.
I'm assuming all you baked was white bread.
Wow. Wow.
No.
Table. Table.
All right.
Just be opening the show talking about white bread.
How did you guys make your selections? DeBona, let's start off with you, man. How do you make your selections?
Man, I let my inner fat kid make these picks, right? Like I went back to things that just make me happy when I eat them.
Wait,
like
are blowjobs baked? Can we do?
Okay.
I mean, like, is this just a list of things? Is this just a list of our favorite things to eat? Because I gotta rearrange.
I am regretting my AirPods so bad right now.
But no, man, I actually had a last minute realization that my number one was fried, not baked. So I had to completely uproot my list at the last second. But I got a solid list here. Like I said, it's just things just make me happy, man. That's what it really came down to. There wasn't a lot of research put into this one. Like normally I'm a researcher, I'm a digger. That did not happen today. This is all heart picks tonight.
Oh yeah. Anyway, so how did you make your selections, Lou?
All right, so can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're a little chopped up, but we got you. I got you.
You might need to switch back. You might need to switch back to your
phone.
Without bread.
Hold on. Lou, you might need to switch back. You might need to switch back to the phone because I think the Wi-Fi is cutting in and out. I think you might need to use cellular, brother.
Really?
Yeah, it's just the sound is cutting in. It's cutting. Like I literally heard nothing after you said, well.
And then I think I heard you say desserts and bread.
So
fine.
All right, but disconnect from here now before we get that feedback again because that shit was killer. Hey, Missy.
All right, he's got the link. Oh, look at Missy going long ways there.
Well, Mary Facebook me to switch, so here I am.
It was just throwing off the rest of the look on the screen. All right, so okay. we're gonna wait for Lou. So Missy, how did you make your selections? While we wait for Lou, how did you make your selection?
It's pretty easy. I love food. That's it.
That was it?
Also, yeah, that's it. No. Also, it's just like if I'm going to a bakery, what is the thing I'm most likely gonna want?
All right.
That's it.
All right.
Not very hard.
There he is. Lou's back. All right.
All right, we good?
So yeah, we're good.
Way clearer
way
now.
Way better. So Lou, how did you make your selections?
All right. Well, I originally I did all desserts. Like that's all I wanted to do. I don't care about bread. I don't care about muffins or any of that shit. It's all desserts.
Lou, some people see muffins as desserts. You are aware of that, right? Like that's a thing.
Well, I mean, that's a breakfast.
Okay.
That's a breakfast.
All right.
You got Missy clutching pearls over here.
So I tried to do one from each of my favorite countries, like for dessert.
Ooh, okay.
So like I've got obviously the French know how to do their desserts.
Yeah.
The Italians know how to do their desserts. I've got some really good I got a really good Mexican dessert and an American one.
I don't believe you have a really good Mexican dessert. I'm sorry. I don't. I'm sorry. Mexican food is my favorite food on all earth. To the point that I offended my mother when I came back from Mexico and told her that Mexican food is my favorite food. Mexican food is my favorite food, but their dessert game is weak sauce, man. It's very much like the Asian culture. Asian culture has amazing food, and then their fucking desserts. I'm like, ugh, really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Fried ice cream. That's all you got is fried ice cream.
I know. I know what he's got on there. It's a damn good choice.
All right, so
I know this.
I made my selections by basically I whittled it down to one of each one of these is in a different category. So I'll have a bread, I'll have a pastry, so it's different categories just to make my life easier. Because I've been known to sample a thing at a bakery here and there. And
do you walk out? Do you like go in with one hat, go to your car, switch the hat out, and go back in for more samples?
Well, it's pretty bad when you walk into a bakery and they yell your name like you're Norm at Cheers, like Neri, and you're like, oh hey, what's up? And like, I'm sorry guys, I had they sometimes when they forget the key, they call me and I go open it because I have the key and so. I love my baked goods. Again, I used to love baking. I hadn't baked in a long time. And then during this quarantine, my wife and I had just done nothing but bake. And it's been a lot of fun. We have been watching. We just got into the Great British Bake Off show. They have a bunch of seasons on Netflix, and we've done like 4 seasons in 2 weeks and shit. It's been fucking bananas. So with that said, I'm very happy to get this going. Are you there with us, Lou, or are you just off the phone?
Dude, you are in and out bad again, Lou.
You can hear me.
Yes, I can.
There we go.
Yeah, we can hear you. Did he freeze?
It's choppy again, though.
I think he froze. I think Zoom only likes one person from Alabama at a time on these things.
I think so, because this is the second time we brought on somebody else from Alabama.
Stupid. It's a stupid thing to say.
Well, this is a second, Missy. This is a second time we had.
Is correct.
Yeah, we had. There was one other time we did baseball movies, and the Bono was like, "I got the perfect guy for me. He's right. He lives right around the corner." And then we picked, and then he was having the same issues that Lou's having. So I think it's one person from Alabama max is what Zoom is saying.
Well.
But Lou, you're back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, you're back now.
We got you now. All right. So I would say that
Lou, it's so choppy, dude.
Hey, can you hear me?
Hey, there you are. Yeah, like have you tried turning off your Wi-Fi and just using like your cellular data?
Okay, let's do that.
Because that worked really well for Neary.
Yeah, that's the reason I can't use my computer. I have to use my phone. It's for that reason.
Well, let's see here. Let me see if I can get the video back. Okay, I got video.
We're good. Yeah, man, we're good.
Our video.
Love it.
Okay,
there we go.
And you're not choppy anymore. So
gravy. All right, let's start off with our number 4s.
With the fourth pick.
Number 4. Round 4.
I'm in no mood for your wives' crack. Let's get it on.
All right, DeBona, what do we got for number 4? What do you got?
My number 4 is the one savory pick on my list, and it really comes down to just the Southern boy that's bred into me. My number 4 is the humble biscuit.
The humble biscuit.
What is that?
Is that just like a biscuit?
No, just a biscuit.
Okay,
I was just using the word humble as an adjective.
Oh, I'm like, what's the humble part?
As far as I know, there's nothing actually called a humble biscuit. No, just the biscuit. I grew up with family from the South. I live in Alabama now. It's a breakfast staple. It's a dinner staple with fried chicken. You can go honey and sugar on it, make it a little sweet. The cool thing, one of my favorite things about biscuits actually is for something as simple as just a biscuit, you can go to 5 different places and they don't tell you there's anything different about their biscuit, but there's obvious differences in the biscuits that you're going to get. I mean, even just in fast food places, KFC to Bojangles to Church's, you're going to be different. But then just every place around here has got biscuits. I love them for breakfast. I love a good biscuit when you're on the road. It's easy to eat. Stack a lot of breakfast stuff in there. I mean, it's seriously, it's a baked good that you can eat at any point, even up to and including if you wanted to eat it for dessert. Little cinnamon butter, maybe some honey.
Honey. Oh, I mean, shoot, Bojangles has the Bowberry biscuit.
The Bowberry biscuit at Bojangles.
Those are good. Yeah. Those are really good.
That's
the Church's biscuit is already brushed with like honey butter
all day.
So I mean, it's a simple pick. It was something that was originally going to be an honorable mentions for me, but it's one that I definitely can't avoid. Like I said, I love them with any and all meals, so I'm going to go with the biscuit. Is my number 4.
That's a solid pick, dude. I love a biscuit. It's one of my favorite things to get at usually chicken places that have fast, biscuits. I love biscuits. You're right. Any time of day, they're great. They didn't make my list only because there are other things above it as far as on my ranking list, but they are a fantastic pick. I can't knock the hustle of the biscuit, man. I want to try a humble biscuit because I like braggy biscuits. I like braggy fucking. I like biscuits that brag their ass off. Like, look at me, motherfucker.
Oh, you want to talk about braggy biscuits in Chattanooga, Tennessee? There's a spot called Aretha Frankenstein, and they make biscuits that are seriously like 8 inches tall. Like
wow.
It's like an individual cake as your biscuit.
And Mary's like, honey, I'm going on a trip for a second. I'll be right back.
And it's as good as any biscuit I've ever had. I'm a big fan of sorghum syrup on the biscuit. I don't know if sorghum syrup is something y'all do in Miami or not.
I don't know what that is.
Yo, it's
Yeah, I don't think anybody.
That's super old white Southern nonsense, right? Like sorghum syrup is like
It's like castor oil.
It's like ridiculously thick syrup. Like it takes a minute to pour. Like you could put a spoon down in it and then turn the spoon upside down and it doesn't fall off. Like that thick. And
Cairo.
like Cairo. But so anyway, like I said, the biscuit, man, you can't go wrong. You can eat them with anything. So it's a good blue collar pick, right? Like the biscuit's always there for you.
Yeah, I'm good with it. I like the pick. Okay. I like the pick. What do we got, Lou? What do we got for your number 4?
All right. Well, I see that my list is just going to be a desserts list. So none of my baked stuff is ever going to make this mountain. My number 4 is a French pastry. I learned how to make this in school. Profiteroles. Y'all have any idea what they are?
Oh my God!
You can't use Google.
You arrogant little.
What am I supposed to do? Just sit here and pretend like I know what you're talking about?
It's a cream puff.
Oh, okay. Oh. So why can't you just say cream puff? Why you gotta be a French about it?
Because it's French. I picked. So this is one of my specialties. I make like usually around Christmas time for our Christmas dinner at work, for any parties that Christmas parties that my friends are having or whatever. I normally make cream puffs. They're versatile. They're easy to make. You can make them savory. You can make them sweet. So like you could fill them with cheese if you wanted to, or you can fill them with like a pastry cream or like whipped cream or chocolate or anything like that.
Is it still a profiterole if I fill it with sausage?
Yes.
As a hot dog.
Yes. It would still be a profiterole, the way how you make it. The French used to make wedding cakes out of profiterole. And so like they would have a cone and they would just make tons of cream puffs and just stack them on top of each other on this metal cone and stick them together with melted sugar. And that was like the wedding cake. I made one for a friend of mine who was getting married, filled them all with like whipped cream or mint chocolate, or I did like a vanilla pastry cream. Like it's one of those, I put it on my list because I like making them. Not necessarily I don't eat them because I've eaten a ton of them. But yeah, I really like them. Cream puffs. And anybody knows what a cream puff is.
Are those the things that you used to make at the bakery that look like pretty patties from the episode of SpongeBob?
No, that's something else. That's
okay.
Macaroons.
Oh, macaroons. Sorry, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, the moment you gave that description, I was like, I wasn't there, but from his description, it sounds like he's talking about macaroons.
No. They're cream puffs.
Yeah.
Those little balls of dough that are hollow in the middle, and you fill them with whatever you want.
The profiterole.
Yeah,
that's the picture I pulled up on Google too.
Yeah.
What'd you pull up?
That same exact Google search that Nary's looking at.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, profiteroles. They don't really taste like anything. You know, really, they taste like whatever.
Whatever you fill it with.
Yeah, so you're basically just giving me on your mountain. The filling made the mountain, is what you're saying.
Right, because puff pastry's got no flavor.
Yeah.
Puff pastries have no flavor, but you can do so much with a puff pastry.
Yeah.
Think about how much stuff is puff pastry. Croissant, that's a puff pastry.
Yeah, but croissants have flavor. You don't like. I don't need the filling of a croissant to be like, croissant. Like croissant on its own holds its fucking like.
Biscuits aren't flavored.
Yes, they are. They have flavor. Of course they do.
It tastes like biscuit flour.
They taste like
nanny sweat.
Flour and butter, just like a cream puff.
Nanny sweat.
All right. I mean, it's your mountain.
Mary does not approve.
It's like when people go, oh, you know what's a good place to eat? Arby's. And you go, Arby's is shit. And they go, bro, they got those fries though. And you go, you're gonna go to a fucking place just for the fries? That's how I feel the profiterole. Yeah. The puff pastry is like, oh, yeah, well, I guess the filling is delicious. So, but
but you can do so much with it.
Yeah. No, you can't. You're right. You're right.
He's the only professional here. I think we just, you know what I mean? Let it go.
Okay, I wasn't arguing his fucking credentials. I just didn't like his pick. I don't know. If Guy Fieri tells me that a fucking turd with hot sauce is fucking, is the shit to Flavor Town, I'm not gonna be like, oh, well, he must be right. I'm gonna say, well, I don't know about shit, sir.
Churros with hot sauce, man.
Oh, churros, hot sauce. I used to sell churros. That was one of my first jobs as a kid. Missy, what do you got?
Okay. Well, after such a controversial pick, I hope mine goes over well. I tried to go each category, but it turns out I favor dessert. So weird. So anyway, my number 4, Cuban bread.
All right.
I'll go with Cuban bread.
Cuban bread.
Cuban bread is really yummy. I think it's the yeast that makes it so doughy in the middle. I'm not sure. I was supposed to pay attention when I worked in the bakery, but I didn't. And you can use it for anything. You can use it for breakfast sandwich, for lunch or dinner sandwich. There's so many different ways you can have this bread. And if it's done right, and if it's fresh Cuban bread, it's the spot like every single time.
Yeah,
I immediately think of like a Cuban sandwich on Cuban bread. That might be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they have there's steak sandwiches you can have with it. There's for breakfast they make it down here with scrambled eggs and ham, cut up ham. Some people like to have the Cuban bread with some slices of tomatoes and a little salt and olive oil. That's a good breakfast too. So there's so many different ways to enjoy it. If I'm walking to a bakery, my number 4 pick is probably gonna be a Cuban bread. So
yeah, you're gonna.
That's my truth.
You could also dip it you could also dip it in coffee, and if you have your latte.
That was my question: can you dip it in coffee?
Yeah.
Yes,
But it has to be latte. It has to be
breakfast bread for me.
It has to be a latte. You can't dip it in black coffie. That shit is not a fucking thing.
Correct.
That is not a thing.
That's the only reason why I get the latte. If I'm getting the meal, the little thing, it's because I use the latte as a dipping sauce for my Cuban bread.
So Cuban bread is fantastic and phenomenal, but you better eat it today.
Correct.
Today.
Because tomorrow it's a weapon.
Tomorrow it's a weapon that could be used on the set of Braveheart. It is a fucking weapon, bro. That shit turns hard like a fucking wooden baseball bat. It's a thing.
There's no way to keep it fresh?
No.
You have an 8 to 10 hour window, and then that
Max.
thing is a weapon.
Max.
And I know this to be true because I don't know if all of you have recorded with Dave, but for those of you who have, his wife and I are friends. And one time, many, many years ago, we were running a retreat together, and there was a giant thing of Cuban bread, and I'm kind of an asshole. So I was like, hey, you think this bread is stale? And I hit her with it, and it fucking bounced back because it was a bat. It wasn't bread anymore. So, yeah, it's a weapon after 8 to 10 hours.
Yeah.
It was a bat.
There's no way to keep it fresh. It really is. But it's delicious for those 8 hours. It's fucking. It's a godsend. And then after that, you go.
So good.
Ugh. All right. So So number 4, we got Cuban bread. All right. My number 4 is my cake entry into this mountain. And there was a heated debate amongst Louis DeBona and myself ways back ago about what cake was better, and we put up a poll with 2 different kinds of cake. And they were under the belief that one cake was better. I was under the belief that another cake was better, and we let Facebook have it out. So with that said, my number 4 pick is a carrot cake.
Table.
Okay.
Oh, wow. You're tabling that?
I absolutely am.
Wow.
Okay.
All right.
So, so we're going to have a discussion about this.
So what was the other option, in the
Red velvet?
Red velvet.
Yeah.
Oh.
Red velvet or carrot.
Yeah.
Which are 2 completely different cakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, one is good and one sucks.
Oh, well, we'll get to that later.
Hold on, we'll get to that later. We're going to get to that later. We'll save that discussion for that later.
All right.
All right, so number 4 is we had biscuit, humble biscuit. We had a cream puffs, Cuban bread, and carrot cake.
Round 3.
3 is a magic number. Yes, it is.
All right. I just realized that Missy said that she's only had a parfait in Epcot, which I think is hilarious. Because it's whipped cream and fresh. It's whipped cream and fruit. It's literally whipped cream and fruit. You can have a parfait anywhere you want.
They sell them at Dairy Queen. You can get them at Publix.
But they're really good.
Donkey from Shrek is really into it.
You can get it. You can get good value brand in the frozen section.
I know, but the best parfait I've ever had is the French Bakery.
You literally said it's the only place I've ever had.
I lied. I've had parfaits in other places, but that was the best one I had.
All right. DeBono, what do you got for number 3?
All right, for my number 3, it's one that I thought what I would end up actually kind of putting higher, but I feel like it's one that's kind of been done to death, and so a lot of its merits are lost. But I've had a couple really good ones, and if it's too broad, I'll narrow it down if I need to. But my number 3 is cupcakes.
Nice. Respect.
That's a good one.
Respect.
So,
God, you got a basic list.
Look, calm yourself. All right, whatever. Look, the thing about cupcakes is that they're very versatile in what you can do with them. Now, there was a time years ago where I would not have put cupcakes on this list if Lewis had not introduced me to the fact that you can fill a cupcake with stuff. And
that's what Lou does. That's what Lou does. He fills shit with other shit. That's what he does. That's his thing. You got a cream puff, fill it. You got a cupcake, you fill that some bitch. You fucking fill it.
You got a best friend and you just drank a bunch of vodka? Fill it.
Fill it. I was taught in school that any cupcake is supposed to be filled. Like you put a filling in the middle and then you make a icing that complements the filling inside the cupcake.
Yeah.
Which is where if I had to pick one particular cupcake, one time for my birthday, Lewis made me these cupcakes. They were chocolate cupcakes with strawberry jelly filling and a peanut butter buttercream frosting. It was like a peanut butter jelly cupcake, and it was the second best cupcakes I've ever had in my life. Number 1 is there's a spot called Gigi's. I think they're nationwide. And they've got a cupcake called Kentucky Bourbon Pie, which is like a 9-pound cupcake. It's so dense. But, I mean, it's a very versatile dessert, and I get it. Yeah, it's real basic, right? But cupcakes make me happy. My biggest problem with cupcakes is people go too far with them. And it becomes a thing of just like, how much crap can I stack on this cupcake?
On top of it,
like,
yeah.
Oh, well, this is the cornbread cupcake, and I put a whole ass fried chicken on it, or whatever. Like, I don't have time for all that nonsense. Like, I like a good ratio of icing to cupcake. I like a filling in there. Like I said, I like a dense cupcake. There's a handful that I can name that I think are just great.
Damn, that was a good pick.
They were really boutiquey there for a little while, like I said, and I think that they kind of got overdone. And I believe there's a fair amount of cupcake like whiplash that everybody's kind of going through, because I don't know if it happened down in Miami, but around here there was a year and a half there where you couldn't sling a dead cat without hitting the boutiquey cupcake place.
Cupcake joint, yeah. Well, I mean, Cupcake Wars on Food Network didn't help the situation. But
when done well, the cupcake is very simple. It can be very elegant. It's something that you can do at home very simply and enjoy with your kids. It's something that can be done upscale and gourmet and in ways that I couldn't begin to start to do at home. So my number 3 is a cupcake, man.
Brother, I owe my career to a cupcake.
You know what? I expected you to table this, so I'm doing yard work today, and I was like, all right, I'm going to say cupcake at some point, and Neri's going to table it, and I'm going to make the joke, your career depends on you tabling this and it being higher, right?
Yeah. Legit, I love cupcakes. Here's the thing: I have a whole bit written about to the listeners who aren't. I'm a comedian, and I have a whole bit and it's a long bit. And for a while, it was my closer. It's a strong bit.
I have closer on Man-Child.
I have a T-shirt that's available on Amazon that says "Cupcake Second Best Way to Wake Up," and it's available on Amazon. And I have this whole thing. I love cupcakes. I started doing that bit because I went to a baby shower one time, and they had the little mini cupcakes, and it was the first time that I had seen the mini cupcakes. And so this is clearly 10 years ago, however long ago it was. So I started doing the bit about the mini cupcake, and then it just expanded and morphed into a whole different bit about just cupcakes in general. So I felt like I was, not to be that fucking the hipster, like I was talking about cupcakes before everybody got into cupcakes, but I was talking about cupcakes.
That guy, but I'm gonna be that guy.
Yeah, I was talking about cupcakes before it became a thing, and then, like you said, everybody started doing it, and it became boutique-y, and then everybody started selling these $13 mini cupcakes, and you're like, what the fuck? So I had a friend. Well, I had a friend who used to own a bakery, and then he got divorced, and she won the bakery, but they specialize on specific cupcakes. You talk about fillings, dude. There's I don't know if you've ever had a guava cupcake with a guava filling in the middle. It is fucking amazing. I'm not even the hugest guava guy. Cuban people love guava. That's the thing. I'm not Cuban, but Cuban people love guava. So down here, I feel like it's fucking overrated, but it's legit a great fucking cupcake. It's a guava cupcake. We have guava filling on the inside. Anyways, so I love cupcakes, dude. I really do. But they didn't make my list because I don't really bake cupcakes, and the things that I have on my list are things that I love to bake myself. So that's one of the things.
And that's why cream puff is on my list.
See, and I don't burn.
Yeah, but cupcakes have flavor.
I don't bake any. I don't bake anything myself because I hate measuring.
Oh yeah,
and that
he doesn't like accuracy.
Really hard. I hate measuring. Like, I love cooking. I love cooking, but I just grab I just fill my counter with anything I might want to use, and I just grab stuff.
Yeah, no,
I'm not a big recipe. I'm not a big measuring guy.
I try to tell.
I'm the OCD measurer.
Yeah,
like scientific, very with baking.
Yeah, that's what I was telling my wife. I'm not a precision guy for anything really in life, but I really appreciate the precision that baking takes. I really appreciate the attention to detail that baking. And again, in my regular life, I'm not that dude. I'm not a precision dude at all. I'm really a fucking bull in a china shop, or a fat bull at that, in a china shop. So I'm really not but I really appreciate what I hate about baking, and I'm just going off the rails here, but what I hate about baking, honestly, is the washing the dishes. That shit is because for everything that you make, you could literally make a meal using maybe a skillet or two, and you can make a fucking meal. Whatever you bake, you're using 4 or 5 different fucking pots and pans, mixers, bowls, and you're like at least 4 or 5, and you're like, oh fuck,
bro.
Dude.
The first time I saw Lewis take a measuring cup and level it off with a knife, I was like, that's it, I'm out. I don't have the patience for this. I'm gonna go sit over here and get drunk. You make them cupcakes.
Yeah, Debona doesn't even like to do fucking. Debona, I thought you're the one that doesn't like to do Legos either, right? For that same reason.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's too precise and too it's too minuscule in the details.
You're gonna make his mind explode.
Oh yeah, no, it's the exact same reason I can't stand to do Lego.
I'm gonna give you a Lego set of a bakery, and.
Oh my god! Oh no, that doesn't exist.
But
just get Dave to send me a bottle of scotch with it, and I'll record. I'll Twitch stream the whole thing.
But cupcake is a solid. I honestly, I love cupcakes. I really do. I have it a whole bit, so I know my bit starts off with I love cupcakes. I legitimately do, but I don't really make them as much. I haven't made them as much as I made the things on my list. So that's really where it comes down to. All right. Number Lewis, what do we got for number 4? For number 3, I'm sorry.
Let's see. My number 3, it's the one that you can bake it or you can fry it. I chose churros.
Oh, all right. I've never had a baked churro.
Baked churro is the thing.
Okay, so listen. The dough that you make for churros is the same dough that you use for eclairs. And and cream puffs. So it's the same dough, but there's different ways you can use it. But if you piped out with a certain tip, you could pipe out a churro out onto a sheet pan, bake it for, I don't know, 10 minutes, then deep fry it. Like that way you can fill it with whatever you want to fill it with, and then deep fry it. Like you could put chocolate in the middle, deep fry it, melt the chocolate. Outside is crispy, the inside is nice and soft.
Okay.
Churro.
I had on my short list, but knocked it off for being fried. I
love churros.
So what I'm hearing, Lou, is that you pick puff pastry twice. That's what I'm hearing.
Not a puff pastry.
Not a puff. I'm sorry, a cream puff. You pick cream puff
different.
twice. You pick cream puff twice. One without filling, one with filling, and one without the filling.
It's a different shape. The cream puffs have filling, and churros can have filling.
Yeah.
But you mostly cover those
like in the real South, not like Florida.
Not really.
Not like they're going to be popular for somewhere with a large Hispanic population.
Okay.
Right. Like
you can find them.
What's like a lot of the Mexican restaurants here you're going to find sopapillas before you find churros.
Yeah.
Right.
But one of our restaurants here that I used to eat at a lot, has churros. And they'll give you a 6-pack of churros, all filled with a strawberry filling. And it comes with caramel, chocolate, or a whipped cream dip. And they're amazing. I love them.
I just got diabetes thinking about
it.
I love them.
I'm interested in having a baked churro because I've never had I used to sell churros when I was a kid. That was one of my first jobs. And on the side of the street selling fucking churros. That's how Hispanic I am. That's how Hispanic I am. I used to sell churros on the side of the street.
Yeah, bags of oranges too?
No bags of oranges. Here's the thing: I would sell the churros for a bag for $1, and I would keep 50 cents, and then the owner of the truck would keep 50 cents. And in like 3 hours, I would leave out of there with $30. And when you're 12 years old, $30 is a fucking fortune. You're like, oh my god. Yeah.
So I went to Miami in 2003 with my roommate, and he's from Miami. We're driving down the road right in front of Miami University, and there's a guy out in the middle of the street selling bags of churros.
Yeah.
It was like $5 or something.
I knew you looked familiar.
This was.
I was gonna say that guy's son is probably took over the business at this point.
This was a really skinny guy, and
no, not me.
He was selling. So I gave him I can't remember how much it was. I know I gave him a $10 bill, and when he gave me my change back, he gave me a 5 and 5 1. So I got a bag of churros from this churro dude in the street for free, and they were, oh my gosh, they were amazing. I love churros.
I bet you they weren't baked. I bet you they weren't baked.
No, they were fried. They were absolutely fried. Yeah. But you can bake a churro. Okay.
Have you ever had a baked churro? Have you ever had a baked churro?
The more you know.
We made them at school. Like when we made the pâte dough to make cream puffs, eclairs, palmiers, which are elephant ears, and then and churros.
Yep.
And we piped them out on baking sheets, like sheet pans.
Yeah, but have you ever had a baked churro?
Yeah, I had to eat them at school.
You didn't have to.
Yeah. I didn't have to. I did.
All right, so we got cream puffs in a different form. All right, Missy, what do we got for you?
Oh my god!
What do we got for number 3?
Troll in the dungeon. 3, right? Yeah, 3 is okay. So 3 is a classic. I picked the chocolate chip cookie as my number 3.
Honorable mention.
Basic.
Because
basic.
You're accusing me of being basic?
Well, you just chose chocolate chip cookies. That's just a funny thing to say at the moment. Oh, what's that? Right?
That's going to be like number 1 on everybody's mouth.
That's.
Well, I mean, does it have to get tabled here, or can I talk about it?
I'm not tabling it. I said it's honorable mention.
If anybody was gonna table it, it'd be DeBona, and he hasn't tabled it, so
right.
it'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm apparently the pretentious asshole on this podcast. I'm not tabling it.
Let me tell you, every panel needs one. The guy that's usually here took the night off, so it's voting in for him. So the chocolate chip cookie, I prefer cookie dough versus cookies, but I've been teased for that. Apparently, I'm like a terrible fat person. But the chocolate chip cookie, I feel, is a really great pick. And another fun thing you can do with it is you could make it into an ice cream sandwich, which is a bonus to any food, is if you can use it more than one way. And yeah, my favorite chocolate chip cookie to make is the Ghirardelli one. But usually I make it for people, and then I just eat the cookie dough that's left over. But I guess I shouldn't get into that too much right now. But yeah, it's just really, really yummy, classic, easy, and I've never had a bad chocolate chip cookie. Like, I've never been disappointed. So.
Oh, I have.
I like an underbaked chocolate chip cookie.
Yes.
Like I like the middle to almost fall out of it when you pick it up, like nice and soft in there. And as far as preferring the dough,
the chocolate chip cookies you could get from Subway.
Yo, speaking of actually exactly where I was about to go, when I worked at Subway in high school, I would go into the fat as hell. I would go into the walk-in and just like eat the cookie dough, like while they'd be like, "Go make tuna," and I'd be like, "Yeah, fuck you, I'm gonna eat all this cookie dough." And I would just grab the cookie dough out of the walk-in cooler and just eat it.
I worked at Subway. Yeah. I worked at Subway for like 3 months, and then I got laid off. It was actually legit laid off. I wasn't fired. And I worked there so long ago that it was before they had cookies.
But why?
Oh wow!
Why did you get laid off?
It was a seasonal. It was a seasonal position, and then it was at the mall. And for you, that it was right by your house, Mall of the America, and it was.
I've been to that mall.
It was a seasonal position. It was a seasonal position, and
I'm sorry you had to work there, and I'm sorry that you've been there. Jesus.
It was a seasonal position, and then business wasn't taking off the way they expected seasonal, like the rush to get. So it was a layoff. But I actually did enjoy that. I actually did enjoy that job. I worked there right after I got fired from McDonald's, so it was a way better atmosphere in Subway than it was McDonald's.
I went from a bookstore to Subway, but yeah, no, I like a good chocolate chip cookie. It's not my favorite type of cookie, but I can't be mad at the pick. I mean, it's a solid, heartwarming pick, right? The chocolate chip cookie.
Correct.
But as far as never having a bad one, yeah, I've had some bad chocolate.
I've had some bad chocolate chip cookies.
Oh yeah.
I don't like them when they're too hard. I've had some bad chocolate chip cookies.
You dip them in milk.
Yo, but when they reach a certain level of hard, where even when you get it in the milk, it still turns to powder when you bite it. It's too much. Yeah.
Jimmy John's has the worst chocolate.
Jimmy John's cookies are garbage. Hot trash.
Their oatmeal raisin is amazing.
Brownies. I never get chocolate chip cookies.
It's bad.
Yeah.
I guess I don't have standards for my cookies.
Legit. You don't have standards for your cookies. But no, I've had.
You're local. Just reminding you.
That sounded like she's about to drive around and punch a ball.
I've had some bad chocolate chip cookies when they get real hard, and the dude from American Ninja starts using them as fucking throwing stars. That's an issue. That's a situation. I mean,
that's a situation.
So all right. But all right, that's a good pick, I guess. My number, I'm calling an audible here just because we're already talking about cookies, so I'm gonna call an audible and swap out my 2 and 3 because really they're interchangeable. But my number 3 is gonna be the white chocolate macadamia nut cookie.
That's a
good pick.
Also a good pick and delicious at Subway.
At Subway, they are the shit. At Subway, it's either between Subway now has like they had it like 6 years ago. But they have this raspberry white chocolate.
The
Those
raspberry
are the shit.
cheesecake one.
Yeah. Lewis, what are you doing?
Is he making cookies now? Is that what he's doing now?
Lewis is making cookies right now.
No, I hear everything you're saying.
No, but we hear everything you're doing.
Yeah, but we hear you dropping an entire cabinet worth of dishes.
Sorry.
Yeah, so the white chocolate macadamia cookie to me is legit. I've loved this for so long. When I was at that baking school, when I went to school, there was a competition. There was a Kahlua cook-off, a Kahlua bake-off. And what my entry was a white chocolate macadamia nut Kahlua cheesecake. That was my entry because I was such a fat.
Did you win?
No. The judges ate my whole fucking cookie, my whole cheesecake, though. I will say that. You cut them off a slice, and then you leave the rest of the fucking cheesecake on the side, and they ate my whole fucking cheesecake. So they dug it.
You didn't win?
No, I didn't. The reason I knew I wasn't going to win is because my presentation sucked. Like, I had nothing for presentation. I didn't know that you were supposed to have presentation, and I got there, and people had fucking like styrofoam fucking dinosaurs, and their whole desk was decorated, and my shit was literally just a cheesecake in the middle of a table. Like, yeah, I literally didn't even have a tablecloth. I had my instructor found a tablecloth for me, and he like ruffled it up. That was it. And I knew right then and there I was like, I'm not gonna win this. I'm not gonna win this.
Like that episode of Bob's Burgers.
Yeah, yeah. A similar
thing happened on Gilmore Girls. I know you guys were dying to know about that. But
actually, I know the exact moment you're talking about. Big Gilmore Girls guy.
Stop! There's another one. I thought I was by myself on the planet. Wow.
All right.
Big fan.
I used to love white macadamia nuts, the cookies from Subway. For several years, every time I ate them, had like a weird reaction to them, and it wasn't until my throat closed up and I almost called an ambulance that I realized I'm allergic. But because I am stubborn, it took me like 10 years to finally like consider that maybe I should not eat anymore because I was close to dying. But yeah.
Were you allergic to the macadamia nut or to the white chocolate? What were you allergic to?
To the nut.
Okay. So is it all every kind?
All tree nuts?
Yeah. Is it every kind of nut or just the macadamia nut? Can you eat an almond?
The macadamia nut.
Oh, okay.
No, I hate almonds. You know I hate almonds.
Yeah, but
I have cashews that.
Yeah, my question was, are you allergic to them or do you just don't like them?
No, my question is, did you just say almonds?
Yeah, almonds.
Yeah.
Almonds. What, am I saying it wrong?
Almonds?
Almonds?
Almonds? How do you say almonds?
I feel like we're saying the same thing.
No, y'all are saying Al, like the guy from Married with Children. Like almonds. And we're saying almonds, like the end of the word hall.
Okay. Well, you realize there's two guys.
There's my Florida card.
You realize there's two guys from Alabama talking to two spics from Miami about accents. You are aware of this, right? That's like, I don't think anybody's right. I think we're all wrong on this one, all of us.
I already said I'm using my Florida card on this one. That's all. That's where we had to leave it.
Yeah.
We took it to another level as per the use.
I just think it's funny that dudes from Alabama are telling Hispanic people that we're not speaking right. Like, we know. We know. None of us are speaking correctly.
Do you say I eat Al the pizza?
Al the pizza?
Or all the pizza?
I just say
all the pizza.
I just say pizza.
That's different inflection. Mary, I just pizza.
Mary's like, I eat pizza.
I ate pizza.
How much?
The pizza. How much? The pizza. I ate the pizza. That's
what the guy delivered. That's what I ate.
All right. So, hold on. All right. 52. All right.
Look at that, Mary. We're saying almonds wrong.
I don't know. I don't know if we are. I got to be honest with you. I don't know if we are.
I understand, but if we were to go out, we were our friends, we were like, hey guys, want some almonds? Then we'd be like, everyone would look at us like, what the fuck is wrong with you two? Oh, we're saying it wrong, guys. Right. No, we're not.
I'm sure we're all saying it wrong. All right. So we got number 3s. We got cupcakes, churros, chocolate chip cookies, and the white chocolate macadamia nut cookie.
Round 2.
Dose, the sequel to Uno.
All right, DeBono, what do we got for number 2, brother?
My number 2 is a childhood favorite. It's one that my granddad used to make all the time. It's something that I find that when done well is very much one of my favorite desserts. When done poorly can be botched and turned into something awful. But when done well, my number 2 is peach cobbler.
Oh. Wow. All right.
Okay.
Like when done well with good fresh peaches that aren't bitter, with plenty of butter and plenty of sugar and stuff like that, when served warm, it's absolutely one of my favorite desserts in the entire world. I think that it's one of those things that's possibly, it is not something I have ever made or attempted to make. I don't know how hard it is.
Oh, it's not that hard.
But I've had good ones and I've had bad ones. And but when done well, it's a dessert that absolutely, like, taking a good bite of peach cobbler. I have that moment like the dude at the end of Ratatouille. Right? Like where I get that bite and I'm suddenly like transported back to being a kid again. That's what good peach cobbler does to me. Like I get that bite, and when it's perfectly buttery and it's sweet and it's a little bit savory and it's just everything right there, I have that moment where I'm just a kid again. And my granddad, who was just the most influential person in my entire life, like I'm back to that moment where he would make this, and I think it's just an absolutely incredible dessert that, like I said, Lewis says it's not very hard to make, and it very well may not be. But, man, when I get a good one, like that's a moment that I can't put a price tag on. The way I feel when I get that first great bite of peach cobbler.
A cobbler comes down to how good the crust is and how well they made the fruit filling.
Right. See, because like
how much they reduced it or anything like that.
Because that's the other thing is
cobbler.
You can always tell if somebody used like the canned peaches, because it'll be too heavy on the sugar because of that syrup that they're in.
Right.
As opposed to if you get one where you still have just a little bit of crisp bite to getting a bit of the peach in there. Even though they're baked through, if they're fresh peaches, they don't go all the way soft like a canned peach does. Ooh.
Yeah, you got to cook them in like sugar, a little bit of water, and let them reduce down. Oh my gosh, they're amazing. Blackberry cobbler is like my favorite cobbler. Yeah, but it all comes down to the crust.
I've also learned there's a faction of people who are like anti-warm fruit. Like any sort of dessert that involves a warm fruit. Like there's actually like a speakable number of people who are like, I don't eat anything where fruit is made warm, and that's
we call them communists. That's what we call them.
Oh my God.
We call them communists. We have a thing with them. Listen, I've never had a peach cobbler. I know this because, much to my wife's chagrin, when she learned this about me last week, I've never had a peach.
You've never had a peach?
I've never had a peach. I've never had a peach. So
come to the Stardome and let us put you up for a couple days and just get you.
What are you talking about?
So here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. I don't know if you guys know this about me. I'm fat, and yeah.
What?
Yeah. And
what's being fat? I'm fat, bro.
Here's the thing. I don't like as a kid. Fruits and vegetables were strictly off my fucking plate. Like, you do not put no fucking lettuce. You do not put no anything on my. And I just didn't like it took me a long, when I was a kid, bananas for a long time. I'm talking about like 30 plus years. Banana was the only fruit that I would eat. Like I ate my first.
We call them plantains.
Yeah, I had my first. I had my first strawberry like 8 years ago.
A good one.
I had my first strawberry like 8 years ago. I'm 38 years old, so I was 30 when I had my first strawberry. Like actually, I've had strawberry flavored things.
Wild.
I've had strawberry flavored things in the past, but it was never the actual strawberry. Which, by the way, can we talk about how strawberry flavored shit tastes nothing like the actual strawberry?
You ever have watermelon?
Yeah.
Watermelon flavor is the furthest from actually tasting like real watermelon than
banana.
Banana's close, but dude, watermelon flavor tastes nothing like a watermelon.
Watermelon? Yeah.
So
blow pops, man, they messed all our taste buds up.
So my wife and I are watching the Great British Bake Off, and they're having peaches, and I'm like, that doesn't seem appetizing, and they're like, what are you talking about? That seems amazing. And I go, actually, and I told her, I go, to be honest with you, I'm just talking shit because I've never eaten a peach, and she all but lost her fucking mind.
I can eat a peach for hours.
She fucking.
That's my man.
So yeah. I never had a peach. There's a bunch of fruits that I've never had. I've never had a peach. I forgot what other ones I want. My wife is.
You're like Charlie on It's Always Sunny. Like, you ever eaten a pear?
No, that's the other one. That's the other one. I've never had a pear. Yeah, that was it. I was like, I know there's another one. I know there was two of them that she was complaining about. Peaches and pears. I've never had a single one of them. So I've never had a peach cobbler. So I would like to have one. I guess I would.
Oh man, it's like it's a super southern, not Florida southern, like Alabama.
Real southern.
Nobody in South Florida believes that we are part of the South. Nobody. All right.
Right, North Cuba.
Right. Everybody in South Florida believes you have to drive
the
north.
The panhandle part of Florida is the South, but down where y'all are isn't the South.
No.
Yeah.
We don't like being associated with Northern Florida behavior.
Right. That's why we call it Lower Alabama.
Yeah.
That's LA.
Everybody in South Florida realizes that you have to drive about 3 or 4 hours to get to the South. You have to drive north for 3 or 4 hours to get to the South.
But peach cobbler, super southern, man, super tied to my childhood. Just really untouchable as far as just a comfort food dessert goes.
Okay. Lou.
Cobbler, like you can have it. Can you have the peach cobbler a la mode?
Oh yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Or is that not a thing?
Absolutely.
Oh no, absolutely.
No,
like, and when it's hot enough that the ice cream starts to melt, forget about it.
Any cobbler with ice cream, that's a must.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
All right. Lou, what's your number? What's your number 2? I'm assuming it's cream puffs and some other kind of, maybe eclairs. Maybe it's the same.
Stop it.
No. This is one that goes back to my childhood. My grandmother made it. I've made it. My mom has made it. Now my girlfriend makes it for me. We've been together for a little over a year and a half, and she's made it for both years. She's made it for my birthday. So it's going to be like a thing that she does for me every year. It's bread pudding.
Oh, okay.
Dude, honorable mention, just barely missed my list, man.
Really?
Bread
oh
pudding.
my
God.
So, as long as I can remember, I've loved bread pudding. My grandmother made it for me, and my dad, because it's one of my dad's favorite desserts. I would see my grandma just leave a whole loaf of bread out overnight and just let it dry, and then she would make the pudding the next day, bake it, cinnamon, sugar, raisins she would put in it sometimes. She would make her own icing to drizzle on top, or chocolate syrup, like anything. Oh my gosh, like bread pudding is my favorite, one of my favorite things.
Lou, right now you look like that Winnie the Pooh gif where he's at the table and he's like, you look like you're so happy just talking about it. You're like,
So there's.
Wow.
There we go. Say that over again, Lou. We lost you in the passion of your bread pudding.
Hold on. All right. So I was talking about restaurants here in Tuscaloosa.
Yes, there you go.
That actually serve bread pudding, and I think I have tried bread pudding at every restaurant here in Tuscaloosa, and none of them touch anything that I've had.
The only good restaurant bread pudding I've ever had was not in Tuscaloosa. It was at Birmingham at an Irish pub, and they make a bread pudding that's got a Jameson whiskey glaze that you pour on it. That was a game changer, bro. The reason that I didn't put bread pudding on here is because while I like bread pudding, the only way to elevate it to that level of being on my mountain is that one place that was like, here's this magical glaze made with your favorite whiskey. Pour it on the bread pudding. And, you know, if I could put that glaze on here, then I would. I love bread pudding, man. Last year at the 4th of July, down at my folks' house, somebody made a butterscotch bread pudding out of this.
Ooh, that sounds amazing.
I think we just got real southern on them. Y'all not bread pudding?
No,
folks?
no, I'm in. I like the fact that you went back to the whiskey thing. Like, this is the second time off before we started recording. You mentioned something else that had some whiskey fucking.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
yeah.
Did you tell them about the first time I tried to make you a Kentucky whiskey cake?
No.
And it was horrible.
Like, that's the thing. Yeah, I talked about the Kentucky bourbon pie cupcake.
Yeah.
Lewis tried to make it into an actual cake for me, and it did not go well.
It didn't go well.
I just like the fact that the Bono apparently you'll suck a dick if it's dipped in whiskey. You like whatever it takes. I got whiskey.
Okay.
Defines me, bro.
I keep a bottle of whiskey here with me.
Just in case he shows up.
Right. I think that was going to be the rest of the joke.
Yeah, that was going to be the rest of the story. And then he froze.
And then he froze.
That's hilarious.
Did I freeze again?
Yeah.
We just heard you say I keep a bottle of whiskey here.
And then we knew where the rest was going to go. We knew.
Don't worry, we filled in the rest of the joke. It's about me going down on you. We got it.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Joke. Hard quotes.
We're on the same.
Hard
Obviously,
quotes.
Missy never listened to What's Good.
All right.
Sorry.
But bread pudding, right. I love bread pudding, man.
A lot of that.
I love bread pudding, but you're right. When you make bad bread pudding. Now, here's a question, Lou. Whose bread pudding is better, your grandmother's or your girlfriend's?
Oh.
What are you doing?
I'm blast. The man's not even married yet. She can still leave him. Give him a break.
Well, you know, I haven't had my grandmother's pudding since I was 15. The last time my girlfriend made it for me, she put rum in it, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
I'll have to go with. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with my girlfriend.
Oh shit!
Smart. I like that.
Good, smart move, brother. Smart move.
Smart choice. It's a smart choice.
Missy, what do you got?
Yeah, I think I have to go with my girlfriend.
Yeah. Missy, what do you got for number 2?
Okay, it's a cake, and it's my favorite kind of cake. And if this thing is on a dessert menu, I'm gonna have it in any way, shape, or form that it comes, whether traditional or fried. Like, give me it. And that is the cheesecake.
Yeah, I knew that.
Now, talk a lot about food.
Yes, I know. I didn't. It's not predictable. I know you personally, so I knew cheesecake was going to be your thing.
So cheesecake, I love cheesecake so much that I vividly remember when I was 10 years old, I asked to discontinue birthday cake and like bring me a cheesecake. I don't want birthday cake anymore. And that was my birthday. That's been my birthday cake for. Well, I was 10 like 6 years ago. So yeah, like 6 years. And I just love it. I've never had bad cheesecake. Yes, I will say that. But it's in any kind of flavor, I always enjoy it. Obviously, my go-to favorite is what's the famous bakery in New York that everybody goes crazy about their cheesecake?
Carlos?
No, it's the one where it's the one where Diddy made these motherfuckers walk all the way to.
Oh yeah, when he went on the Making the Band show.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Wait. Did you say you were 6 years ago?
Yeah, I was.
But she's obviously lying, Debona. She's obviously lying. Debona's really confused right now. And you can't say that to somebody who doesn't actually know you as a person because they think, oh shit, she's 16. Like it doesn't.
He was saying it and you ruined it. Thank you very much. What's the fucking cheesecake called? It's supposed to be crazy.
Juniors. It's Juniors. It's Juniors.
Juniors.
And it is legit the best cheesecake I've ever had in my entire fucking life. I
unfortunately have to disagree with you. I was not like over the moon
wait.
when I tried
Are you telling me that it's not the best cheesecake I've ever had in my life? You're disagreeing with that statement that I made? Is that what you're saying? It's not the best cheesecake? You're right.
No.
Please tell me what cheesecake is better than that for me. Which is the best cheesecake I've ever had, Missy?
I'm so tired. What I was saying is that I, personally, Missy, no last name, would disagree with your favorite cheesecake of all time because I was not impressed at all when I had
cheesecake is the shit. I would walk from Manhattan to Brooklyn for that fucking cheesecake. Legit, I would fucking do that. I had juniors when I had juniors when I had juniors for the first time. I didn't know that was the place where fucking Diddy made these motherfuckers walk to. So I had it in Times Square, and I was eating with a friend. And first of all, Juniors as a whole, the restaurant is fucking amazing. Their food is great. It's fresh. It's huge portions. It's fucking amazing. And then I was like, oh, I'll have a cheesecake, I guess. I was like, whatever. And I had a cheesecake, and it was orgasmic. Because I wasn't expecting, I was like, I don't know what the fuck I didn't know that this was the famous place for cheesecake. And I not only took a cheesecake back with me, an entire cheesecake, not only did I buy an entire cheesecake that day, 2 days later, before I left back home, I bought another cheesecake. And then you fast forward a year and a half later, and I was on a cruise ship that was docking in New York for 5 fucking hours. And I literally just got off the ship to fucking walk to Junior's to get fucking 2 cheesecakes and fucking take it back on the cruise ship. I bought food in New York to take back with me on a cruise ship. That's how good
it was one to get you till you got home and one to bring home.
Well,
right?
No, because it was
both of them.
Legit. Here's the thing. Here's my out. It was a friend's birthday, like a crew member's birthday. So I bought her a quote unquote cheesecake for her birthday, but I bought it because I knew I was going to be able to have some as well. So I fucking indulged in that, and then I took one for myself that I also fucking indulged in the whole time. Yeah, it was great. I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
My favorite thing about cheesecake is like going back to like my cupcakes pick. It's just how many different things you can do with cheesecake, and honestly, just a solidly made, really good cheesecake is really good. But one of the best like flavored cheesecakes I ever had, and let me just get super basic and white real quick. I had a pumpkin cheesecake one time that blew me away, and I get it, right? Oh, Daniel's white and he likes pumpkin stuff, but it's like the one specifically flavored pumpkin thing that was just head and shoulders above the rest because of the fact that it had cinnamon in there, whipped cream in there. It was like a whole pumpkin pie blended into a cheesecake.
Hey, man, I'm not knocking that. You know what? I don't think that's what, like Missy was talking about cookies. I don't think, unless you literally, it was not completed. I remember I had a girlfriend one time who made a cheesecake and she didn't put it in the freezer. She didn't put it to cool, and it was like a fucking soup. And I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Just soup on crust.
Yeah, it was soup. It was really bad.
The spring form and it just flowed out.
Yeah, legit.
Yeah.
And I was like,
awful.
"This is not what."
That's a disappointment.
So, with that said, unless it's that kind of scenario, I've never had a fully cooked cheesecake that I did not enjoy. Like, I fucking love cheesecake, dude. Love cheesecake.
Well, what I was going to say is, to Devona's point, like, you can do so much with this one dessert, and although I would have to disagree with you that pumpkin is the favorite, is my favorite. Like, I don't care about pumpkin, but so there's
a white thing. It's okay.
I don't think it's a white thing. I'm down with pumpkin. I'm down with pumpkin.
A lot of people down here that when pumpkin spice season comes around, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, but he didn't say pumpkin spice cheesecake. He just said pumpkin cheesecake. It's the spice that makes it fucking white. I think that shit rhymes too. It's the spice that makes it white.
It's the spice that makes it white.
Good Lord. So
that's the name of the episode. It's the spice that makes it white.
There it is.
There's so much you can do with it. Down here, like Mary had mentioned before, the guava is a big deal, and there's a local bakery that makes the guava cheesecake. I'm sure there's other ones, but the ones that I've had have always been great from this local bakery. But my go-to, like, last day on earth, I need to have cheesecake choice would be the Godiva cheesecake from Cheesecake Factory, which is probably also a basic thing, but that cheesecake is like the best of both worlds for me because it's like chocolate on chocolate on chocolate on chocolate, and then cheesecake.
She has it once a month.
Maybe like I think.
Oh my God! What I'm so sad about right now is that there's no visual on this podcast, because if y'all could see Missy right now.
Excuse me, I'm gonna go die now. Anyway, you're a fucking asshole, man.
You know which is a great one from Cheesecake Factory has a bunch of them that are great, but that Oreo cheesecake that's no fucking joke, dude. That Oreo cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory.
They got a Snickers one that bangs.
Oh, they have a Reese's, dude. They have a Reese's one. Oh, fuck me, dude.
One too.
A friend of mine used to make a key lime cheesecake that I would only. That's something that I would only eat in the summertime. Cheesecake is the only thing I would only eat in the summertime.
He would make a same guy makes a tiramisu one that was really good too.
Yeah,
I'm not a coffee guy, so tiramisu gets lost on me. But I understand that it's a good thing. But I'm not a coffee guy. All right, so we got peach cobbler, bread pudding, and cheesecake. My number 2, which was originally my number 3, but got swapped around, is by far, by and large, my favorite pie of all time. So my number 2 pick, is my pie pick, and I'm going with good old American apple pie. That to me is my shit. I love a good it doesn't matter if it's a Dutch apple pie or a fucking apple pie. It doesn't matter if it's covered, if it's uncovered. I don't give a fuck. It could be a la mode, not a la mode. It could be cold, it could be warm. I don't give a shit. You give me apple pie. I am so fucking happy, dude.
Is this your plea to the president to not get deported during the second term? What is going on right now? I'm the most American dude here.
Yo.
I love apple pie. I love apple pie.
You don't even know. If it ain't apple, get the fuck out.
This is the most hood description of apple pie I've ever sat through in my whole life.
Yeah. But it's like how I feel. I feel about apple pie like Bubba does his shrimp, where he was like, he just goes on. You could fillet it. I'm like, that's how I could do it. I'm like, you could put it on. No cover with a cover. A la mode, not a la mode. They don't give a. That shit is so good, dude. I just love one of my favorite ice creams from Cold Stone is the apple pie ice cream sundae. They literally put pieces of apple pie and then the filling with the cinnamon.
I have worked there too. Okay, so here's my question to you as an apple pie fan. Now, I love apple pie, so here's my question to you. Do you ever do the apple pie with the cheese on it?
No. No, yeah, that's a thing that I just learned about maybe 2 years ago, and I didn't know that.
That's a thing.
Yeah. If you
what
go,
kind of cheese?
Okay, so there's 2 different ways to do it, right? You can bake like shredded cheddar cheese onto it, so it bakes in. Or there are people who will just straight up put a slice of American cheese on top of a slice of apple pie.
I've never heard of them baking the cheese into it. I've never heard of that. But what I have seen, because it took me like 2 or 3 years ago for me to go into the first time I ever walked into a Johnny Rockets, is when I ordered an apple pie and the lady goes, "Do you want cheese on it?" And I was like, "What the fuck did you just say to me, bitch?" Like, I was like, "What? Excuse me?" And they were like, "Do you want cheese on it?"
I'm ready to fight.
Yeah, I was like, "Did you?" I'm like, "No. I said apple pie. Do you not hear me? Apple?" And they're like, "Yeah. Do you want cheese on it?" I'm like, "Are you out of your fucking mind?"
Dude, sharp cheddar paired with an apple is a game changer, dude. It's like the Lunchables of desserts, man. Like
that is a bold claim, sir.
Like the sharp cheddar with an apple is incredible, and you get a little sharp cheddar on some apple pie. It's comparable. It's as good as putting ice cream on apple pie. Like,
I mean, I get because you go to any kind of like get together here in Alabama, and somebody's bringing like an apple and whipped cream dish with the cheddar cheese in it. You know what I mean? I never thought of putting cheese on pie,
dude, it's something that I thought was absurd until I tried it, and it's not my favorite. It's not my go-to, but I'm not going to fight you Like I said, because there are people who will shred it before, and put it on top before they bake it, so it's baked in, not just put it on top after it's done.
That one's news to me. But the slice of American cheese, I found out about maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I still haven't had it.
Have you tried it?
No, I still haven't tasted it. No,
it ain't bad.
It looks weird.
Cheese and apples. Okay, so apples and cheese is a good combo.
I snack on that often.
Now just take that and elevate it to the pie level.
Now I'm interested. Now I feel challenged.
Here's the thing. I don't eat apples unless they're in a pie. So that's. I swear to God.
Okay.
I swear to God. I've never fucking had a whole like just.
Look, y'all are in Florida. So you can go to Publix, right? Get one of those. Get a fresh apple pie there at Publix, and then just get some cheese. Like, you can get a variety of cheeses. Try it out however you want. Like I said, I recommend American or sharp cheddar. And just get it nice and hot so the cheese melts when you put it on there. It's a game changer.
So here's the thing. This weekend is this weekend my next project to bake, because we've been baking for the last couple of weeks now.
I've been seeing the rainbow cake looked off the chain.
Yeah, the rainbow. That wasn't me. That was actually my wife. I can't take any credit for that.
Oh,
but apple pie is my next project. So I will see about maybe.
Interesting.
I will see maybe
I'm local,
about.
remember?
What?
I said, remember, I'm local.
I'm only 16 hours away.
Yeah, I'll take you one to Bono. Don't worry about it.
Jobless.
Don't worry about it. I'll drive 16 hours there and then 16 hours back to deliver apple pie. Why not?
No, bro, I was saying I'll come visit.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Well, we could meet in Orlando. We could just do a fucking meetup. Did you bring the pie? Yeah, I got the pie. Leave it there. Walk away 6 feet. All right. Pie.
6 feet, bro. Social distance from the pie.
Yeah, of course. Dude, I did a social distance thing. I went to do a pickup. I didn't know Best Buy was still open. So I bought something. I ordered a mini SD card from my son's Switch. And then I went to go pick it up curbside. And I literally opened the window as fucking small as a sliver as I possibly could. He's wearing everything, the gloves, the mask, the fucking face thing, whatever. I'm wearing my mask inside my car. I open up the fucking sliver as the window as small as humanly possible. He puts in the mini SD card and I grab it and he's literally extending his arm, putting it in the window. And I'm like, just fuck it. And then raise the window immediately. And I'm like, I think we did good. I think both of us were like, all right, that's pretty fucking, we're pretty happy with this. All right. So number 2s are, peach cobbler, bread pudding, cheesecake, and good old apple pie. Fucking
no La Migra visits for Neri.
You joke until it happens, and then you see what happens. And then, why aren't we doing the podcast anymore? Because he's not here no more, fucker. All right, honorable mentions. Let's go to our social media, see if we have any honorable mentions.
I've got your personal page pulled up here if you want me to go through some of them.
Yeah, it'd be great. Go ahead.
All right, so Daniel Converse initially only said Rice Krispie treats, but then when pressed for a mountain, added warm chocolate chip cookies, apple pie with vanilla, and pan de bono colombiano, which I can assume is Colombian bread.
Pan de bono is so fucking good, dude. It is legit really it's so buttery. It's like a little roll, and it's like I want to say half biscuit, half pastry type of deal feel.
Okay.
And it's so fucking buttery. I ordered from a bakery. I ordered breakfast from a bakery last week, and I ordered something, and then they brought me that by mistake. They brought me somebody else's order. I'm like, I didn't fucking order this, and I had it, and I took a bite. I was like, thank you to whoever the fuck ordered this, because this shit is fucking amazing. It's so fucking good, legit. That's a good pick, man.
All right, so Chad Valdez, after being pointed out that ice cream and cookie dough were not baked.
No, and he put on top of that. Let's read his first mountain.
Okay, his original list was Cinnabons, chocolate ice cream, cookie dough, and Reese's cup.
Yeah.
Which you pointed out, if you bake cookie dough, it just becomes cookies. You can't bake Reese's cups and ice cream. So his new list was Cinnabons, soft-baked chocolate chip cookies, brownies, and chocolate glazed donuts. The problem with donuts is donuts are fried, not baked, and that's why I had to pull them from my list. They were originally my number one. John Evans has got apple pie, chocolate chip cookies, cinnamon rolls, and peach cobbler. Is John Evans a good Southern boy? He sounds like a good Southern boy.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a Southern ass list. Quills picked chocolate chip cookies, donuts, bread of all kinds, and cupcakes. When you said she had to pick a type of bread, she says Puerto Rican bread.
Which, that's one of my honorable mentions. Puerto Rican bread is the same as Cuban bread, except it's sweet. And it's not the same. So it looks the same, except it's a little darker, and that's because of the sugar. So it's a sweet bread, and it has all the versatility of Cuban bread, except it's sweeter, right? It's not like sticky or glazed or anything. It's just the bread is just sweeter, and it doesn't become a weapon after 8 hours. It has a longer shelf. It has a longer shelf life.
Okay,
which apparently is important.
Here's the thing, but I've only had Puerto Rican bread. I've only had Puerto Rican bread like 3 or 4 times, but only in the same place. And the same place being the job that I used to have when I worked at State Farm corporate. And then for every party or every like co-workers, going away or farewell, whatever, this one lady would bring Puerto Rican bread because apparently in Miami, not every bakery sells Puerto Rican bread. And I had no idea what the fuck it was. I didn't know this existed. And the first time I had it, I told her from then on, I was like, Glory, every time we have one of these things, you bring Puerto Rican bread. And if somebody requests something else from you, you tell them that I said, fuck you, you are bringing Puerto Rican bread. Because Puerto Rican bread is a shit. So I don't know where to find it. I don't know any bakers around within a 2-mile radius. And I'm sure I'm wrong, but I've never fucking been to any bakery where they go, yeah, we got Puerto Rican bread. It's always Cuban bread. So I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
Find a recipe.
Mark Hawkins just said pretzels, which was an honorable mention for me. I can't be mad at that pick at all. I love pretzels. Elena Garcia says Hawaiian bread. So just some statues, not some mountains. Waylon Paulin says the maple bacon donut peach cobbler, the white chocolate macadamia nut cookie, and blueberry cobbler. Jemiah Leonard says flaky buttermilk biscuits. That's what I'm talking about. Cheesy garlic bread, chewy chocolate chip cookies, Rice Krispie treats. Honorable mentions to Cinnabon, banana pudding, raisin bread, and double fudge brownies. And Luis Diaz from 4 to 1 says Nosberry cinnamon rolls.
Yeah, it's a Nosberry.
Is that something from Willy Wonka?
Nosberry Farm.
The Nosberry tastes like Nosberries?
No. Nosberry. Nosberry Farms is a farm down here. They are what's that word I'm looking for? Yes, that.
Okay.
We
got Mennonites around here.
Yeah, Mennonites. So they have Nosberry is a
Mennonite.
Yeah, Nosberry is a Mennonites farm down here, and then they sell cinnamon rolls, which everybody loves down here.
It's a seasonal establishment, and everyone goes ape shit for it, like lined around the block.
Got it. So that's a homer pick.
Yeah, and here's the thing: it's overrated. There are good cinnamon rolls. Cinnabon does it better. I think Nosberry Farm is overrated.
I don't want to get involved in this conversation because I live in my.
Yeah, well, Mennonites
like us picking Bama mayonnaise.
Yeah, but Mennonites don't fucking listen. They don't listen to podcasts. Go ahead.
All right.
Mennonites.
Blueberry muffins. Whack. White chocolate macadamia nut.
You think blueberry muffins are whack?
Brownies. Dude, blueberry muffins are whack,
basic.
right? Like that's like you want to get on to folks and say you're basic, right? Like the blueberry muffin is like the most basic of the baked goods.
It's an icon, dude. What do you mean basic? It's it's up there for a reason. Everybody
I do a mountain of icons.
I don't need
food.
I don't need Mr. It doesn't matter that you came first to tell me that blueberry muffins are an icon. I get it, right?
Do you? Because you had biscuits on yours. I don't know if you're aware of this. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I take a biscuit over a blueberry muffin every single day.
Not every morning, though.
Blueberries in a biscuit.
Not every morning.
Oh, boy.
Blueberry. I don't even have blueberries. Yep. This isn't even my pick. I'm just very offended at the fact that you think that blueberries is not a fucking reasonable pick. That's, you know who you are? You're that dude that if we're doing a fucking mountain on X-Men, you can't pick Wolverine because God forbid you pick the popular fucking pick.
You're goddamn right. I want to pick Wolverine. You're absolutely right.
He's too overrated. He's too fucking. It's too overexposed. That's not his fault. He's still the shit. That's not his fault. Just like Blueberry. Blueberry muffin is the shit, man. Sorry.
I'm not having that because that's a whole conversation we could have and we'd hijack. You ready to get into honorable mentions?
All right. So what's your honorable mentions? What's your honorable mentions, Demona?
I've got 3 honorable mentions.
You made him mad.
That haven't been said yet. One that has been said, and that's pretzels. I'm a big pretzel guy. Grew up at the ballpark. Soft pretzels, the crunchy ones, any type of pretzel, I'm a big fan of. But some that haven't been mentioned yet are tiramisu. I'm a big fan. Like you said, you're not a coffee guy, so tiramisu's out for you. I am a coffee fan, so I love tiramisu. If you've never heard of Monster Cookies, it's an oatmeal raisin cookie that also has like 19 other ingredients. It's incredible. As a person who loves oatmeal raisin cookies, a Monster Cookie is an oatmeal raisin that's also got some nuts and some M&Ms and some stuff like that. So they're usually huge and just chock full of stuff. And my last honorable mention, Missy, you had mentioned how cheesecake replaced birthday cake for you. My birthday cake replacement has been something that my wife introduced me to, that she now makes me every year for my birthday, that I'm a massive fan of. She calls them magic bars. I don't know if they have a different name outside of this. They're essentially graham cracker, chocolate chip, coconut, and either evaporated milk or sweetened condensed milk. I'm not sure which one. And you just bake it down like that, and you get these bars that are melted chocolate, shaved coconut, and a graham cracker crust that are just absolutely incredible. So like I said, she's always called them magic bars is the only thing that I honestly know them as. But that's what she makes me instead of a birthday cake every year now.
That sounds like the fucking perfect food to make when you're high. That sounds like a high food. Doesn't it? I mean, I don't even smoke, but all the ingredients you just mentioned.
It's a great drunk food too.
I've got a cookie in my honorable mentions that's like that too.
So, but yeah, like I said, she calls them magic bars. As far as I know, it's a recipe that her mom taught her. I know that I've met people who have had them before. So it's not like some ancient Chinese secret type thing. But I just don't know what else to call them other than magic bars.
All right.
That's how you find them on the internet. If you Google magic bars, you come up with that.
Well, there we go.
Yeah, Katie probably found it on Pinterest.
No, her mom taught her how to make these. I will say this was a pre-Pinterest recipe.
Okay.
All right, Lou, what do you got for your honorable mentions?
My honorable mention. Let's see. One of them I can't mention is an honorable mention because it's not fake. Lemon squares. I don't know if y'all know anything about
I like
those.
a good lemon square, man.
Yeah, I know about lemon squares.
Shortbread crust on the bottom, and then you got like a lemon curd type thing on the top. Like I could eat them all the time, covered in powdered sugar. Really easy thing to make. French macaroons.
Those are the ones that look like pretty patties. Yeah.
So French macaroons are really good, and I've only had a few that I've really liked, but most of the ones that you find got some bullshit flour water in it, and it's disgusting. Pedophores.
I hate when you say that word.
What?
I hate that word so much.
What are those?
It's a tiny cake.
Okay,
like a little.
So it's have you ever
I feel
seen
like if I
little...
Google it and I don't,
then you're on a list, right?
I'm gonna get on a list.
Yeah.
Pedophore. So it's just one it's like a 1 inch by 1 inch square little piece of cake. It's usually like some kind of almond cake with some kind of buttercream in between, and then covered in a sugar glaze. I've always liked pedophores, and I got really fat at the bakery just eating the pedophore.
And it's because you're like, it's 1 square inch, and so you eat 20 of them and don't realize you just ate a cubic foot of cake.
Yeah. Jalapeno cornbread.
Huh. Oh, bro, what a great pick.
Right?
Oh, Mexican cornbread is the jam.
Mexican cornbread.
Yeah, jalapeno cornbread, Mexican cornbread.
Yeah, if there's a barbecue joint that offers jalapeno cornbread or regular cornbread, I'm going
pinto
jalapeno
beans.
cornbread. And you put the jalapeno cornbread in your collard green.
Or in your collard
It's
greens.
amazing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Collard greens are vegetables.
And then
collard greens are vegetables. Nary don't do vegetables.
Yo, cornbread. I should have had honorable mention, but Mexican cornbread especially. Yes, sir.
Here's my cookie. I learned how to make it at the bakery. It's called a Ranger cookie. It is almost like an oatmeal raisin type cookie. It's that texture. It's got coconut. It's got Rice Krispie in it. It's got oats, like actual oats, sugar, brown sugar, and sometimes you can put raisins in it. But the Ranger cookie, is the first time I tried it was at the bakery, and I couldn't wait until she made it, because eating the dough raw is even better than eating the cookie. Oh, they're amazing, really, really good.
Mm-hmm. Missy, what do you got for honorable mentions?
Those are my honorable mentions.
I have tarts. Any flavored tart. That's a dessert, but it says it's fake. I had. I just these in my. This is good. Okay. The oatmeal raisin cookies is another honorable.
You got to
mention.
try the monster cookie then.
And there was one more, but I can't remember it right now. So I'll just go with those two. Oh, the brownie. Yeah.
Brownie.
The brownie.
Yeah, I'm surprised nobody has picked the brownie with all these basic picks that we've got.
I like to keep people on the edge. I don't know.
How has nobody picked the brownie?
We still got number ones left, man.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
All right. My honorable mentions are I like a good banana loaf. Not just because I made it the other day, but I like a banana loaf. I'm a big fan of banana loaf.
The one you made the other day looked solid.
It was one I made, the second one I made that day, because it was the first one. The pan wasn't. It was too tall for the amount of batter that I made, and so it looked really. It was really. I mean, it tasted good, but it was just really. And then the second one I made, I said, double this bitch up. We're gonna double the batter, and then it was like real fucking good.
You butter your banana bread?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you butter your banana bread?
Right, goddamn right, I butter my banana bread.
Just making sure. Just making sure. Look, no, I'm a fan, but I've met people who say it's too much.
I've done both though. I could see both. I gotta be honest with you. The first one I made was with dark chocolate swizzle on top, and I think it was too much. I think the dark chocolate was too much, but that's what the recipe called for. But I was like, So the second one I went with butter on the top. I would just butter my piece every time I would eat it, and it was good.
Yeah, there you go.
Banana loaf, biscuit is legit. I love a biscuit. I love a good biscuit, and then I would say a blueberry muffin, because fuck the world, blueberry muffins are the shit.
Oh my god!
I also think I do love blueberry muffins, but I also love banana muffin. A good banana muffin is so fucking good, dude.
Yeah,
with the sugar on top, with the caramelized sugar. Fucking.
Yep, I agree. Banana muffin, banana nut bread.
Correct. I'm with you. All right, so let's get on to our number ones.
Round 1. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back.
Do it! Come on!
All right, number ones. The Bono, what you got, man?
My number one is gonna piss some people off. It's going to be controversial, and I get it. My number one is fruitcake.
Wait.
No, I'm just kidding.
No,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. My number one is carrot cake.
Carrot cake.
My number one is carrot cake, which is honestly probably just as controversial as fruitcake being my number one. But look, carrot cake, I think, is just absolutely incredible. It's when done well, it's a really dense cake, so you feel like you get your fill when you're eating a carrot cake, I love how much you can do with the carrot cake. I'm talking raisins. I'm talking nuts. I'm talking pineapple, all that. Just put all that in there. Like, I want all of it in a carrot cake. I want a good, heavy cream cheese frosting on there. Like, just go to town with it. I love that you can do so much to a carrot cake when it's well cooked. Even with all that stuff in there, it's moist and it's dense. And I know that this was also Neri's number 4, so you got some stuff to say. But, man, it is absolutely my favorite cake. Back when I talked about cupcakes, I mentioned the Kentucky Bourbon Pie at Gigi's. The reason I liked it so much was because it was like a boozy carrot cake, was the way that the texture of that thing was. I think that carrot cake, when it comes to just an actual cake, is untouchable in terms of how good it is, how varied it can be, and what can be in it. And I love carrot cake, so it's my number 1. I know that it's one that not a lot of people like. I know people want to talk about not having raisins and this and that, but throw it all in there. I want a trash can of a cake in my carrot cake.
Well, here's the thing, man.
Pain in the ass to make.
Here's the thing. Carrot cake was my number 4 pick. I do appreciate a carrot cake. Going back to that story, that I was the one that was talking about red velvet cake is better than carrot cake, and that's how the whole argument started. To put it up on Facebook, I'm pretty sure red velvet won the poll on carrot cake. However, over carrot cake. However, I will say this: that in the following 3 or 4 years since that poll, every time I'm offered one of those 2 cakes, I don't know, I just gravitate towards the carrot cake. Red velvet. Red velvet is the shit. I'm not gonna argue that. But here's what I'm saying about carrot cake. Carrot cake, to me, the reason why I have it at number 4 is because it's really fucking good. However, what makes it good is that fucking frosting. Without that frosting, man, that frosting is legitimately the shit. And I think number 1 is a bit too high. Because you're basically having the fucking cream cheese frosting as number 1, which is not a bad fucking deal. But
for me, it's not all about the cream cheese frosting. Look, Lewis has made me a carrot cake before, and like I said, we're talking raisins, nuts, pineapple, carrot, all in there. He's got it all in there, and I'm talking like every bite of this thing is super sweet, super savory, very heavy. Even those bottom bites that maybe just have that little thin bit of frosting. It's not just about the cream cheese frosting when this man makes a carrot cake. He elevates carrot cake. The way that Lewis makes one, it is the best carrot cake I've ever had. Without having Lewis's carrot cake, it might not be my number 1. But the carrot cake that Lewis has made me is the greatest dessert I've ever had in my life. It takes it there, man, and it does it. Which, by the way, it's funny because when you were doing the lean into this being your number 4, I was like, oh, he's about to talk about red velvet, because it was me and Lewis arguing carrot cake against him arguing red velvet.
So red velvet sucks.
It's just chocolate cake that's red.
It sucks. Everything red velvet sucks.
Yeah, but like, so I was so ready to just be like, oh, and then you said it, and I was like, oh crap, I got to table it. But yeah, no.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like I said, it's yeah, I get it. And yeah, for a lot of people, it is about the cream cheese frosting. But this man right here, I mean, it's next level when he makes a carrot cake. And like I said, I like all that stuff in it. Yeah, the frosting's good, but everything that's involved in a good carrot cake.
I think as a total package, it's really good. I don't know if number 1 good, but I like number 1. And I do enjoy a good carrot cake. What I like about the carrot cake is that they're always tall, so it always feels like you're getting a huge piece.
You do always, right?
Yeah, it's fucking great. So you're not going to hear me argue against the carrot cake. It's my number 4, for God's sake. It's the only repeat on this so far. It's the only repeat that we've all had. So I get it. It's fucking great. But number 1 is high. It's high. It's a high thing. It's a high pick. Well, it's a high pick.
Thank you for all the compliments there, Vanilla Bear. But yeah, carrot cake. I enjoy making it. Makes the house smell amazing. The recipe that I found, I don't know that I've met anybody else that has done carrot cake the way that this recipe has told me how to make it. The reason why carrot cake has got to be so high is because of how much carrots you have to put in there.
Yeah.
I mean, you get so much batter out of it. And I remember trying to make it out of a sheet pan and like damn near burn the entire bottom of it because of how much sugar is in it. So you've got to make small rounds because you can't make a carrot cake into a sheet cake. Like you'll burn that cake. But carrot cake, I'd choose carrot cake over red velvet any day. Any day.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a tough. To me, it's a tough choice. I can't argue that. But to me, the one that put it over the top for me is the frosting between those two cakes.
Yeah,
specifically. Between those two cakes specifically. But you know, it is what it is. Again, we're not arguing. We're all saying the same thing. Carrot cake is amazing. All right, so carrot cake. Lou, what's your number one?
My number one is my cake pick. I love Tres Leches cake.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I love it.
This is where I wrote down, as soon as the episode started, this is where I wrote down Lewis's number one pick because I knew what it would be.
That's my man. If the restaurant serves Tres Leches cake, I'm getting it.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm getting it. I want to try it. I want to see how good it is.
It's pretty cool because I've, at least Missy, I don't know if you, living down here, have never heard it called tres leche cake. It's just tres leche. Like that's just what we call it.
Yeah.
The cake part isn't added to it at the end. So it's interesting that
it's insinuated.
Yeah. It's not even insinuated.
Yeah.
It's
if you don't add the word cake in Alabama, they'll have no idea what they're getting.
It's so weird.
Like,
I literally have tres leches.
say?
I have tres leches in my refrigerator right now, and I swear to God, when I bought it 2 days ago, I never thought to myself, "This is cake." Like I fucking swear, I never would have have associated tres leches with cake. I'm not saying it's not cake. I'm just saying because we're so programmed to not like the word cake is never involved.
It's a cultural thing.
It's obviously it's a
Right.
culture. Yeah, so
And-
I'm just like, it's interesting. This is an interesting thing.
Oh my gosh! So the first time I tried to make this was before I went to school, and I didn't know anything about baking, and I destroyed that cake. Like it came out like lumpy soup, and it was not good at all. After school and the things that I learned, I tried it again, and if I could, I would make it all the time and just keep it in my fridge.
Now here's a question for you, Lou. Have you ever had cuatro leche? No, I swear to God, that's a thing. No, that's a thing.
Oh, are you serious?
No, I swear to God.
Oh, I thought you were just breaking balls.
No,
That's a
I
real
swear to
thing?
God. No, that's a real thing. They have a fourth milk. Tres leche literally translates to 3 milks, where you make it with 3 different types of milk.
Right.
So they have one that's 4 milks, and it's I forget what the fourth one is. I think I don't know what the fuck is condensed milk. I don't know what the hell. But
Hold on. So you've got regular milk, right? Like you've got milk or cream or whatever. And then you've got your evaporated milk.
Right.
And then you've got a condensed milk,
sweetened
right?
condensed.
Or buttermilk.
Yeah.
Or do you put buttermilk in it? Is that your fourth milk?
I'll let you know right now because I've never made it.
I thought you were just making a joke, like, but have you heard Cardi C?
No. No. I looked the answer I'm giving you. I'm looking it up right now. But it's funny because the answer, what I was about to give you is like, I've never made cuatro leche. I've never looked at the ingredients. I've just eaten it, which is basically the same response that the dude from Tropic Thunder, like, I don't know the name of it. I just know the sound it makes when it kills a man. And shit like that. So like, I don't know what the fourth milk is. I just know how it tastes when it goes in my belly. Like, that's how I want to fucking rephrase that answer. But to answer your question, I'm looking it up now. And I just see a bunch of recipes, and I can't understand.
I pulled one.
Well, how many leches do you see?
So I just pulled one up, and there's whole milk, condensed milk, evaporated milk, and then this recipe calls for 2 cups of heavy cream and vanilla. I don't know if that's
okay.
different.
So you go heavy cream, condensed, evaporated, whole.
Evaporated, and yeah, okay.
Okay.
Well, but that still sounds good. Now, I want to ask this, since y'all have had it all the time. My favorite part of that cake is the very bottom of the cake is always soaked in milk.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always like this liquidy layer at the bottom that, like, when you finish the cake, you just can drink that bottom. Oh my gosh, is that supposed to be there, or is
yes.
the cake?
Yeah.
Okay, it is.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's supposed to be there.
I worked with a guy who he had a Puerto Rican mother that made those cakes for me every month. I had one every month in the refrigerator at work.
Oh, God.
Oh my gosh, they're amazing. I could eat that for dessert every day for the rest of my life. I love it.
I have a recipe here. I have a recipe here for cuatro leches that has dark rum. So something you guys might be interested in.
We're on that. I might have to make that for you, buddy.
What were you gonna say, Missy? I'm sorry. I cut you off. I apologize.
That I was gonna say that when I did work at the bakery so many years ago, that was one of my questions. It was like, is it supposed to be this like milky at the very bottom? And it's supposed to, like, that's part of the whole. It's not just how many milk you have in this recipe, but the part, I guess the part of the experience is the milk. The bottom. Yeah. The bottom.
There's one place I had tres leches at a restaurant in Birmingham. It was like a Tex-Mex kind of place. But when I ordered my dessert, that's the first thing I look at on the menu is what they got for dessert. I don't even care what they got for entrees because it's normally the same shit. But if their dessert menu is good, I'm probably going to eat there. They brought me out my cake on a plate, and they had poured milk in the bottom of the little in the bottom of the plate. Mm-hmm. Like, it was almost like it's a saucer that they had a piece of cake in, and then they just poured milk in the bottom of it. So, like, whenever you cut a piece of that cake off, it would just fall in the milk, and you would just get even more. Oh my gosh, I could eat it all the time. That's first time I ever had a mouth orgasm.
You sound like a fan.
I love it. Love it.
It's legit, man. I just sent you guys the recipe that I found that has dark rum in it. I've never tasted this recipe, so I can't vouch for it. But I have had plenty of cuatro leche, and it is always good. Okay. If I can find a fifth milk,
I'm gonna have to make it.
If I can find a fifth milk, I'll fucking make cinco leches
with no Fast and Furious movie coming out this year now, we're gonna have to find a new excuse to have our best friends sleep over because they put off Fast. Yeah, till next year. Fast 9 got pushed back till 2021, so we're just gonna have to do. We'll just add Hobbs and Shaw, and we'll just get drunk all day and not go to the theater. That's no big deal. Whatever.
Yeah,
Mary loves Hobbs and Shaw.
All right, Missy, what's your number one?
It's my turn. My number one are empanadas.
All right.
It's a good.
Is that a bake?
It is.
Yeah,
I mean, it can be savory or sweet.
It's
right?
absolutely baked. Yeah.
But yeah,
they're not just fried.
No.
They
can come. Okay. I prefer them baked over fried.
Yeah, and it also depends on what the filling is. It also depends on what the filling is. You don't want to deep fry.
Really?
What the filling is.
Oh wait, my bad. Look, so just fair warning. When I super agreed, it's because the thing I was thinking of was arepas and not empanadas.
Oh, yeah.
No.
But I'm also on board with empanadas. But now I'm thinking of the right thing.
Empanadas are like turnovers, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
They're it's the same exact concept. But
they're bigger. They're bigger.
Is
I actually Googled this earlier today. The difference between empanadas and turnovers or peyotes. What are they called?
Pierogies.
Pierogies. Our empanadas are much larger. And then but it's the same concept. It's the same kind of. It's the same kind of dough.
We make giant turnovers here in Alabama, though.
Yeah.
So
you guys make empanadas then. The fuck you guys? We make giant turnovers. They look just like empanadas. Then you guys make empanadas, dog.
Don't tell that to all the mom and pop bakeries with their Confederate flags outside.
Yes.
No.
There's a safety concern.
Yo, got apple empanadas.
We got to build a wall around your bakery.
Oh man. So I grew up. It was like a family thing that we used to make empanadas. The great thing I love about this this it could be a snack, but depending on the iteration of the empanada, it could be a meal. For example, my family is Chilean, and in Chile, the empanadas, I'm not even exaggerating, they could take up an entire dinner plate, because the way that recipe works is that
it sounds so good.
They make the flour from scratch. I'm sure you can buy the tortilla, whatever, pre-made, but my grandmother used to make it from scratch. And then it's ground beef, hard-boiled eggs, olives, if you want, onions, all of that. It sounds gross. I know it sounds gross.
It sounds amazing.
No, it sounds incredible.
Okay,
I can maybe give or take the olives, but God, that sounds good.
So, and then they bake it, and legit, like, you can have one as a meal, and that's it. You don't, not my family, but other families will have one as a meal, and that's it. But then what I love about this dish is that on the flip side of that, if you wanted to have it as a dessert in the spirit of a turnover, down here, they'll put like guava and cream cheese and put that in the oven, or they'll just give you like just cheese if you're feeling like a purist steak. Or
it sounds wonderful.
So all kinds of different ways you can have it. And if I'm walking into a bakery, like, that is where I'm going, because how many versions you have of the empanada is probably I'm going to get is what I want. And, for me personally, like, since we had mentioned childhoods and other meals, like, this is something that brings me back to, like, helping my grandmother when I was a kid and being taught, like, the family recipe and all of that. And then just down here, culturally, it's like a go-to snack. And then my family to this day, whatever we're having, they actually, my uncle married, his wife is from Michigan. She makes these amazing meals for us, and she gets mad because my uncle has my mom pick up empanadas on the way, like, as an appetizer, but everybody knows it's not an appetizer. It just ruins whatever the fuck she made. So yeah, it's like a family thing, but also a really yummy snack. You can have it for breakfast, dessert, as a snack or as a meal. So
one of the most bizarre melding of worlds things that's ever happened to me, I was on a road trip. I grew up in Virginia, and my parents were still living there when I went to school down here. We were on a road trip up to Virginia, and a buddy of mine had to pee really bad. So we pulled over in the middle of nowhere at just this gas station, and there was like a little trailer but pulled behind a truck, and this guy was selling empanadas, and he was selling pulled pork empanadas, and it was life-changing.
Yeah.
Like, this was an absolute melding of two things that I thought could never come together so absolutely beautifully. Like, and you could tell that it was like handmade. The dough on the outside was handmade, and the pork inside tasted slow cooked. It was one of the greatest things I'd ever eaten, and honest to God, we were in one of the Carolinas is all I can tell you. Like, I don't know. I barely know where we were, but it is hands down one of the best things I've ever eaten. Like, I can so not be mad at that pick. Like, empanadas a solid ass. Like, I think of them as fried, so it didn't necessarily make it, but I do know you can bake them. So yeah, that's a damn good choice.
Yep.
Yeah, and it all depends on what the filling is. You want, it all depends on, I don't think you want to fry. I personally wouldn't fry a savory, or like a pulled pork one. I would you know what I mean? Like, I would fry the sweeter ones. Like, and
I almost want to say this one was like grilled. So yeah, like baked essentially, right? Because he was pulling like one of those giant oil drum grills.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really good.
That's awesome.
It's called a conventional oven, man. But the pick is great, man. I love empanadas. They're great. They're fantastic. That to me is like one of those. Down here, they're so common that it's like, it's an empanada.
But Mary, before you, I gotta take you to the Chilean restaurant one day so you can try the Chilean empanada, because it's gonna blow your mind. You've never seen one this big.
It's so funny.
Title of your sex tape.
Get the joke. Get the joke.
The cultural difference in like.
Oh, sorry, wrong button.
In the food is always funny to me. Like you're like, yeah, empanadas are everywhere. Because I remember the first time you were like, yeah, I went to the movies today and the croquetas weren't that great. And I was like, y'all have croquetas at the movie theater?
Yeah, man.
And you're like, bro,
legit.
Every movie theater.
And it's every
and
place.
Like, are you kidding me?
It's everywhere. They're fucking everywhere. Croquetas are like literally. It's just like it's to the point. You ever see that episode of DuckTales where Scrooge went to a place, he found an island that didn't know about money, and what they found special were the bottle caps. The bottle caps, right? And then they're like, oh, I got a bottle cap. So he literally gave every person a single bottle cap. And then one guy had 2 bottle caps. So he goes, just fucking make it rain bottle caps. And he did. And then bottle caps became it's literally a fucking lesson of supply and demand where it's like literally bottle caps became so like nothing that people were just pushing them aside no more.
Right.
That's how we are with croquetas. We're like, this is fucking so many fucking croquetas.
Yeah,
like, it's just such a fucking... And then you're like, oh my God, they have them at theater. I'm like, they have them everywhere.
The only way to get them here is to buy them like in the freezer section at the grocery store or to make them yourself.
What I did this weekend, I got them from the freezer because people are so on edge down here that I didn't want to deal with the bakery. So I made them home, but I got creative and I was sober, for the record. But you can have croquetas and dip them in the Chick-fil-A sauce, and they're fucking fire. I recommend it.
It looks like you went down to Flavor Town.
So good.
Then I got drunk and got on Amazon and ordered a quart of donkey sauce.
Yes, but just the same. That as a sauce, because now, and I don't know if this was like a regular thing up for you guys up in Alabama, but down here I figured out that they sell the Chick-fil-A sauce like next in the ketchup aisle.
Yeah,
so I got some of that, and I got creative. Yeah, I just figured that out. I don't pay attention. I don't.
Yeah, they do that here.
Often.
Like, if you want to talk, y'all have Freddy's down in Miami?
No.
I don't think so. No.
Freddy's got a fry sauce that'll fucking make you come.
Okay, well. So, Neri, what's your number one?
My number one is actually cum. That's weird. It's he actually called it. It's a weird thing.
A bacon and cheese nut. She took out her AirPods. She's out. Missy left.
She left the room. It's hilarious. I don't know if to wait for her to mention my number one. Is she out? her service was going in and out, so I don't know. Like, that's perfect timing. If she didn't
do that on purpose, then yeah, the comedy gods were shining on her.
That's fantastic. She's coming in now. Missy, did you do that on purpose, or were you out like where your connection just got lost?
No, that was by accident. Since I took my AirPods out, the thing hung up.
Oh, that's a fantastic. It just worked out perfect. All right, can you flip your phone back? Because I don't know why you're at an angle.
It's sideways.
And then do it again, and then there you go. All right. My number one is something that the first time I made it was in that food production class that I took in high school. And then the second time I made it was 20 some odd years later, which was last week. Is cinnamon rolls. I fucking love a cinnamon roll. Legit.
Yo, I never really good.
I saw your Instagram of the cinnamon rolls y'all made. Those things looked legit. You even cut them with the floss.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I had to cut it with the floss. I did that. Like, again, I remember this from my food production class in high school, and then it's funny because the recipe was like, oh, you just cut it with a knife, and I was like, get the fuck out of my face. You don't cut that shit with a knife. You got to get that clean cut, man. If you cut it with a knife, then you get that where the dough,
the push down.
It gets that push down.
Yeah.
If you cut it with that with the floss, it just comes out all even. And I will say this though, to make these, it's a fucking process, man, because you have to let the dough rise not once but twice. So it's a fucking 2.5 hour process to make these fucking things. You're not gonna be in and out. Like it's a whole thing. but it is so well worth it. I have no complaints. I thought it was good. I know what I will do different the second time around. That's just me talking. But to get back to the mountain, cinnamon rolls are, I mean, anything I put. And I get a lot of pushback, especially from women on this, and you'll find out what I'm saying. I get a lot of pushback when I say I'll take cinnamon anything over chocolate anything. To me, I lean more towards a cinnamon than anything.
I'm not mad at that statement.
I love cinnamon.
I'd say I would do anything caramel than chocolate.
Okay, like your lovely skin.
Exactly. Thank you, man.
Definitely. Legit. I feel the same way. To me, it would be cinnamon greater than sign, caramel greater than sign, vanilla greater than sign, chocolate. Like that to me. Spacebar. Get that chocolate.
I need to
over
reconsider our friendship.
And again, a lot of and most women, my wife being one of them, is like, you're fucking crazy. You're absurd. And I'm fine. Yeah. I'm fine with being a man alone on that island. I'll die in that fucking hill for cinnamon all day, every day.
I'm not mad at that. Like I'll take cinnamon over chocolate.
I got a good one then. Because my girlfriend will pick caramel over chocolate every time.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hold on to that.
But dude, cinnamon roll is such a great choice, dude. Like, and I love that cinnamon rolls is something that's easy to get on the go. Like, I don't know that I've ever been to an airport that doesn't have a Cinnabon in it. Like most malls have got a Cinnabon, and then when you get them and they're hot, you get that extra cup of the icing. Forget about it.
And here's the thing, though. Cinnabons are Cinnabon, the company Cinnabon is so popular, right? That they're like everywhere. Like you said, airports, and they're everywhere. They're every mall, every airport. But it's not. You know how like the Olive Garden gets a lot of shit from people. Like, oh, Olive Garden is not real Italian food. Right, they get a lot of shit from people, whether you like it or not. Whether people have had that argument, like, "Oh, I'm not going to Olive Garden. That's not fucking." There has never been one uppity motherfucker who goes, "I'm not going to Cinnabon. That's not a real cinnamon roll, motherfucker." Yes, it is. It is.
That's a solid ass argument because I'm one of those people who's like, "Yeah, fuck Olive Garden."
Yeah, yeah. Again and again, whether you believe or not, I'm one of those guys. Look, dude, I'm fat. I'm gonna go. Olive Garden tastes good to me. My wife,
food is good.
Yeah, my wife is Italian. She's like, this is not real Italian food. Yeah, my wife was like, this is not real Italian food. She's Italian, so she knows what quote unquote real Italian food is. And I'm like, that's fine. I don't give a fuck. Nowhere in this restaurant, nowhere in the sign it says real, authentic Italian food. It's just good to me. However, whatever argument you want to have with Olive Garden or with fast food restaurants in general that claim to be authentic fucking pizza places or whatever, you can't have, like, people do that with Domino's. Domino's ain't real pizza. There is nobody who goes, Cinnabon ain't real cinnamon roll. Shut the fuck up. Yes, it is. There's nobody making that argument, dude. Cinnamon rolls are the shit. Cinnabon is a great fucking. I think I'll take a Cinnabon over that Men in Tights place that we have down here any day of the fucking week.
Oh my God, they're Mennonites.
Whatever, dude. We're saying the same thing. It's like almonds and almonds. We're saying the same fucking thing here, bro.
You are naming a movie, and I am what they actually are.
All right. So,
yo, that's a good pick, man.
Like,
Men in Tights.
That's a go-to.
I did not Men in Tights.
I may or may not be accidentally listing a little bit off of a comedian's bit somewhere, but that's like a smell that gets you out of bed, right? Like, if you wake up in the morning and you smell cinnamon rolls, like, that's a reason to wake up and, like, figure out where that smell is coming from. Like, if that is something that's an undeniable fragrance that you can have run through your house. And like I said, it's just one of – let's go with third best way to wake up, right, Neri?
I'll take legit cinnamon rolls are legit, man. Cinnamon, again, it's a smell of cinnamon. You know what I do during the fall and the winter when Publix sells those cinnamon brooms? I'll buy one of those and leave them in my car, in the trunk of my car, just to get that fucking.
Me too.
Oh, it's the shit.
Yo, I throw it up in that space behind the passenger seat, so it just sits there in the sun and gets hot.
Yeah,
I'm all about it.
I'm all about it, man. Cinnamon is the shit. So. That's number ones. Number ones are carrot cake, tres leche, empanadas, and cinnamon roll. So the only repeat is carrot cake. So that's the only one we have legit for the final mountain.
So with the mountain this varied, I mean, are we willing to do just everybody's number ones?
I'm down, dude. I'm down. I cinnamon, to me, cinnamon rolls. I was gonna make that argument regardless of who the fuck, whatever, however we want.
Right, like if we just go, everybody's number ones go up. We got cinnamon rolls. We got the one that's got a repeat. We got something savory. We got a savory option with empanadas. With tres leches. You guys have said that's just, you don't even think about that as being a cake, but
it's definitely a big good.
Everybody's number one.
It's definitely a big good.
I'm okay with that.
I'm down with that.
Yeah.
All right. So our final mountain is that carrot cake, tres leches, empanadas, the cinnamon roll. I will say, before we get off, you guys are talking about things that your parents made and it takes you back to your childhood. Just to give that honorable mention, because I already had 3 anyway, but just to give that honorable mention, one of the desserts, one of the baked goods that takes me back to my childhood, and I get very emotional thinking about it because it's ingrained there, is upside down pineapple cake. My mom. My mom would make that. My
grandmother made those all the time.
My grandmother's second husband made those that were incredible.
Way to go, Grandma!
Yeah, I don't know. I could have been like my Papa Bill, but y'all wanted to know what that meant.
That pineapple upside down cake is a lost dessert.
Yeah, man.
People don't do that anymore,
they
right?
Don't.
Yo, I agree.
You don't see that.
So you want to laugh? The very first season that we saw on Netflix of the British Bake Off, one of the episodes, one of the challenges was a fruit upside down cake. You could pick whatever fruit you want. They had 12 contestants. Not a single fucking person chose pineapple. Right? I'm chalking it up to the fact that they're British. So I'm like, it's British. Nobody's having nobody.
Pineapple's never made it that far.
Yeah, but here's the fucking kicker. This one dude, swear to God, his pick, he made a tomato upside down cake, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here. You're gonna. One thing is to not choose pineapple, but to choose tomato, the fuck out of here. I'm like, no, you're out. You're just fucking done.
One more honorable mention. Speaking of grandparents, just reminded me, pull apart bread, or as my grandparents always called it, monkey bread. Where you just grab the chunk. Yeah.
Legit.
Anyway, sorry.
So no, that's great, man.
That was a go-to with my grandparents.
You know how much my mom made? My mom made pineapple upside down cake so often that when my wife and I were talking about what we should do next, what our next baking project should be, I literally said out loud pineapple upside down cake, and then I said nah. Because my mom lives right behind me, and we share a sliding glass door that dividing our living space, and I'm like, the last thing I need is fucking criticism on how my pineapple upside down cake is not gonna be as good as her. I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna fuck with the master right next to me.
Mark my words, I'm making a pineapple upside down cake for cheat day this coming up weekend. I'm gonna do it.
Love it, man.
Good idea.
I'll put it on Instagram. Y'all can follow my failure.
All right, so make sure you guys check out the other podcasts on the network. Lou, thank you very much for coming in, brother. I appreciate you.
Thanks, man. I'm sorry for all the technical difficulties.
Oh, dude, it's not your fault. You live in Alabama. It's fine, dude. But thank you guys.
They can say the same thing about Florida.
I know. It's just we're for one of the greatest things. Not to get political, but one of the greatest things that DeBona ever texted me is after the night of the 2016 elections, he said, man, we knew Alabama was fucked up, but Florida, man, what the fuck are you guys doing? I'm like, I know. Like, it was so great. I had no answer. I was like, I don't know. I got nothing.
That's why we don't identify as Florida down here.
Anyways, check out the other podcasts on the Geek Bro Network that include What You Got with Daniel DeBona. So make sure you guys...
We will be back in about a week and a half. Our governor has finally lifted restrictions. We're allowed to hang out again. We should be back in about a week and a half.
All right. Well, by the time this airs, that will be 3 weeks ago. So make sure you check out What You Got at geekbro.net. It's a great YouTube channel found on YouTube, obviously, and also geekbro.net. Check out the other podcasts, including Pero Let Me Tell You, Mamas and Merlot, the What's Up Bro podcast, The Layer, and Childlike at Best with Mike Valdez. You guys have been great. Thank you guys for checking us out. Check out Missy's writing at missywrites.com. And her Instagram her Instagram is Missy the Writer. And so check that out, and check out all my comedy at naryscience.com or whatwashisname.com. And since at the time of this recording we're still in a quarantine, and I don't have any jobs, buy my CD, you fuckers. You can also buy a t-shirt that says Cupcake, second best way to wake up, and then buy the CD so that fucking t-shirt makes sense. You guys have been great. Thank you very much. That's how lists are made.